Hi, I'm Gary White for Central Kentucky Television. I'm here with Dr. Trish Ciccone, who is with Central Kentucky Optometric Associates, located in both Lebanon and Springfield, right? And we're going to talk about some eye health news that we have. This month, March, is Save Your Vision Month, correct?
Yes, it is.
And we want to talk about some different ways that you can help save your vision. And then we're going to actually touch upon another issue with eye health, we will get to in a minute. But first, let's talk a little about computer vision syndrome. Now, that's something how you can hopefully help save your vision. What is computer vision syndrome?
Computer vision syndrome is kind of a collection of symptoms that you can incur from prolonged or habitual use of not only computers but laptops, cell phones, and other digital devices. We certainly do live in a technologically digital age, and we're all using these devices at work and at home. The symptoms can vary anywhere from a dry, burning feeling in your eyes to fatigue of your muscles around your eyes. You can even, if you can believe it, your eyes can make your neck hurt. When you have to tilt your head back like this to get through your bifocal to look at your digital device, it can create some musculoskeletal problems also. So March being Save Your Vision Month, we thought this would be a good time to kind of emphasize the healthy way to use some of these devices, and to provide some discounts to special computer glasses, special coatings that you can put on your glasses, and things that you can do to minimize the strain on your eyes and musculoskeletally from using the devices for long periods of time.
So you're saying they're actually specially made kind of glasses that you can use to help you with these different devices?
Sure. Probably the number one thing that we think of is when you're presbyopic age, or when you start to need a bifocal to see things up close. Depending on the level of the stage of presbyopia that you're in, you may need some different devices or different types of lenses that you can actually look straight through instead of having to tilt your head back through. And if you're doing different things at one time during your workday, whether you're sitting at a computer the whole time, or whether you're getting up and moving around, there's different lens styles and different lens designs to help you optimize your visual status while optimizing your ergonomic comfort also.
Okay. So if people are sitting home thinking, maybe I suffer from computer vision syndrome, what are some of the key symptoms that you look for?
If your eyes burn, if they water, or they feel dry or scratchy. There was actually a study done at Berkeley, I think that it was several years ago, where someone actually studied your blink rate and while you were using a computer terminal or a digital device, and the studies do show that your blink rate decreases by a third. So while you're using these devices, so your eyes are going to get dry. Some people might have blurred vision, double vision, or just a headache or an ache or tiredness around their eyes. Some people might actually get a little crook in their neck, and fatigue in their neck, and pain in their shoulders from their head positioning. So the symptoms do vary, but there are things that we can do visually and optically to make things better.
And blinking is one of those things that can help save your vision.
Well, sure.
That's important. If you feel that you have any of these issues, they can come in and see you or one of the doctors in Springfield as well, correct?
Yes. We have two locations, and myself and Dr. Paul Taylor and Dr. John Ciccone Jr. We're all available to help anybody out who has any of these problems.
Now, that's just one of the problems that can affect your vision. Also, since it is Save Your Vision Month, we're going to talk about we're getting ready, hopefully, for a warm-up, which means people are going to get outside. They're going to be doing a lot more outdoor work for the spring, and they really need to be careful of their eyes there, too.
Yeah, there's. You think about it, when we start moving around outside, we start cutting the grass, we start using chainsaws more, we start using weed eaters, and the first thing you need to think about is protecting your eyes from flying projectiles and from injury. We spend every part of it, or a little part of every day, taking care of these types of injuries. The other thing to think about is your exposure to ultraviolet. And we want to remind you to put sunscreen, on any exposed parts of your body, but you can't put sunscreen in your eyes. And really, the eyelids are one of the most common places for skin cancers to come. Sunlight accelerates cataract formation, and it also is a key component in some people for development of macular degeneration. So everybody needs a pair of glasses that absorb the harmful UV rays when they're going to be outdoors.
So sunglasses aren't just a fashion statement.
No, not at all. And everybody should have them, and we should be actually putting them on our kids too. Kids tend to lose things and break things a little more readily, so we tend to hesitate in that department. But we should really think about that, and we do have some good styles. We have a new Oakley style that's actually designed for a smaller head, and would work well for kids and teens when they're outside.
So you can actually come down to Central Kentucky Optometric Associates, find out all these different styles for the sunglasses, and actually get a prescription that goes into one of these top-end brands.
Sure, if you have a prescription, we can put it in almost any frame and put your prescription in there. We can start from scratch, or we can start with a frame that's kind of designed for being out in the sun too. So we can customize anything. Another good thing to use, if you don't want to have two separate pairs of glasses, is to put some of the new transitions tints that change, and they'll also provide you with that protection.
Okay, great. Now, as we said, it's Save Your Vision Month here in March. Well, February was another special month, and that was?
February is Macular Degeneration Awareness Month. And macular degeneration is the leading cause of vision loss in older Americans over 60 today. There's two different kinds. There's dry kind and wet kind. That's kind of the familiar, but they all start the same way. And there are some new developments. There was a new study that has been recently completed, and the results are now being publicized. The AREDS2 studies, that stands for Age-Related Eye Disease Study 2. And in this study, they looked at kind of a more wider age group of people, and they changed the formulation of some of the vitamin supplements to see if they felt like changing in different components of these vitamin supplements would be more beneficial. And from my reading of the results and my interpretation of the results is that some of these vitamin supplementations, the eye caps and the Ocuvite Preservisions, and there's some generic preparations also, but these formulations are going to start changing. They're really now recommending that instead of using the beta-carotene formula for non-smokers and the lutein formula for smokers, that we move into using just one basic formula that does not have beta-carotene in it, but has 10 milligrams of lutein and 4 milligrams of zeaxanthin in it. So, these results are just brand new, and they're coming out, and there are some new formulations starting to emerge on the market. And in the next few months, we'll be watching to see what's available to the general public, and seeing which way and what we're going to be recommending.
Now, is this syndrome something age-related, or can
anybody
get it?
Well, anybody can get macular degeneration, and it is age-related in that, and the older you are, the more likely you are to develop it. There are environmental factors and hereditary factors and dietary factors that all play into the role of whether or not what your risk for developing macular degeneration is. It tends to affect those of us from more northern European descent more than folks whose descent is closer to the equator. It tends to affect folks, smokers. Smokers have a 2 times more likely risk of developing macular degeneration. Folks who spend more time in the sun tend to have a higher risk of developing macular degeneration. And folks who don't get a good, well-balanced diet that includes a lot of zinc and beta-carotene and and antioxidants tend to be more at risk for developing macular degeneration. So you can't control your hereditary, you can't control where you come from, but you can control what you expose your eyes to, and you can control what you put in your body and how you nutrient your body, and you can control what you and protect your eyes through certain coatings and lenses and UV ultraviolet protection that way.
All right.
So.
And we have a little flyer you want to show here.
Yeah, there's a new coating out, and it's a coating by Crizal, and this coating is brand new. It's called Crizal Prevencia. And this coating is specifically designed for folks who have a family history of macular degeneration, maybe have shown early signs of macular degeneration but don't show any visual problems, or even folks that do have and have been diagnosed with macular degeneration. So this coating is for anybody who has an increased risk or has developed macular degeneration. It's a clear coating, and it's an anti-glare coating, very much like normal Crizal coating that you see. But what's different about this coating is that it selectively blocks a certain specific wavelength of light in the blue and violet range, which studies have shown are the most harmful rays of the visual spectrum here. So it blocks the blue-violet. But another thing this coating does is it does transmit the turquoise, because what you might have heard the term blue blockers before. What you'll find is that prolonged use of a coating or a tint or anything that blocks this turquoise range of the visual spectrum is that it can interrupt with your memory and your sleeping and your waking cycles.
Really?
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
So you don't really think about that kind of stuff, but what this particular coating does is it does, in the range, because the turquoise is right next to the blue and violet, it blocks the blue and violet, but it lets the turquoise through. So it's going to protect your eyes from from the rays that help to accelerate macular degeneration formula without interrupting your memory, which is important for folks who have any kind of early dementia or memory issues, and it's not going to interfere with your wake cycles and your sleep cycles, which is important for all of us. We all need good sleep
Absolutely.
to be healthy.
And again, you can contact Central Kentucky Optometric Associates to find out more about all this stuff that we've been talking about. Next month, we're going to talk about dry eyes, right?
Yes, dry eyes. Dry eye is something that affects a ton of us. Those of us, I'd say if you can have dry eye when you're younger, certainly when you're younger than 40, but when you're 40 or over, when our hormonal shifts start changing, we become perimenopause, both men and women, we can have dry eye disease. And dry eye disease, the actual most common type of dry eye disease, is actually more related to a condition called blepharitis. But we'll get all into that next month when we really concentrate on dry eye disease. But what I want folks to know is that Central Kentucky Optometric Associates are now an accredited dry eye center. We have implemented a new piece of technology called the Tear Lab. And the Tear Lab is the first available lab test that you can actually measure or quantify whether or not someone has dry eye. So it's exciting technology, and it's available right here in Lebanon, Kentucky.
Super, fantastic. So be sure to tune in April. We'll find out more about that. And contact Central Kentucky Optometric Associates either here in Lebanon or at their Springfield office if you need some eye care help. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gary.
All right. This has been Gary White for Central Kentucky Television.